Welcome, children. Let me know if audio and visual are fine. I did just pull up the chapter for the sake of having things a little bit streamlined today. And I already saw the cover page or full spread. What's it called? Anyway, I saw Nami. And, it's Oda. So we've got that going for us. But as far as the details go, I love picking out where each Straw Hat is and what they're doing. It's a fun little detail. That's what I have to say. What do y'all think about this? Oh, the Sanji detail. Never mind. Don't like the role he's playing, but I'm also unsurprised. Look at Jin, baby, and all cute. Just popping up like, hey guys. I quite like that one. We've got Luffy and Usopp. Zoro has to slice something. He's playing, what's that? Fruit Ninja. Brooke is performing. Frankie is riding a giant duck with the spike collar. That's hilarious. We have Chopper just popping up, and look at the way Robin's looking at Nami. She's like, you go, girl. Aw, I love. Audio and video are good. Thank you. Typical yearly summer bikini color spread. Oh, see, I haven't been in the fandom long enough to notice that pattern. I do love the colors, I agree. Is a hint at Elbaf coming with the giant Nami? Oh, I like that. Love Robin in the spread. I do too. Best thing is Frankie with his old hair on a rubber duck with spiked collar. Old hair, let me see. Oh, yeah, he does have his old hair. I didn't even notice that detail. Yeah, the rubber duck with the spiked collar is pretty hilarious. I rolled my eyes. That's kind of how I felt too. Like the over-sexualization on these cover spreads, for me, gets pretty old. 27th anniversary of One Piece this week. I didn't know that. Really? 27th anniversary. Dude, that's crazy. All right, let's do our reading. It feels like it's been forever since I've read Official. It's nice to be back. I can read the font in Official so much easier. Okay. Watch out for the claws! That's Luffy speaking. Fire cannons, stop them! They're poison! Don't punch them! Yeah, reasonable. Sorry, I forgot to read the chapter title. The Upheaval of the Era. Okay. The Upheaval of the Era. So, okay, here's my predictions based off of that title. Either one, we're about to see what the big incident is that, tomorrow. Thanks. Grand Soul, you're always on top of stuff. So I think Grand Soul is really good at Google. I feel like anytime something happens, Grand Soul is like, I've got the answer. I think it's Google. Anyway, what was I saying? Okay, I either think that the big incident that we were teased with at the beginning of the chapter of the arc is going to happen in this chapter, or at least begin, or what I talked about last week, which is that Vegapunk is going to give his final reveal. Like, I still think that Vegapunk has one last big reveal to give us. It's Google. And we might be getting it in this chapter, which would be really cool. I'm looking forward to his message concluding and what this has been building towards. Rah! We're trying not to touch them, but the attacks are too fierce. Yeah, understandable. That would be, imagine having a giant poisonous spider just with 8 legs, jab, 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 jab. And then somebody's like, hey, be careful of the claws. They're poisonous. Try not to touch those. And it's like, yeah, that's the goal. But what am I meant to do? He just keeps coming down to the very end. There's Sweet Bonnie. Is she back in her Nika form? She is, or in her freest form. Okay. Look at that look on Luffy's face, though. Look at that look on Luffy's face. Ooh, I don't like that look. Oh, no. That actually fills me. Oh, that face kind of fills me with some dread, actually. Whew. I'm not used to seeing Luffy like that. Okay, we have Oh, it wasn't fear. It was determination. He's coming in with his giant hockey punch. Gonna break a leg. And then Bonnie hops up. Bonnie, wheeze, wheeze. That's it, Bonnie. You do it. Look at him cheering. Look at him cheering her on, y'all. Another way to translate the title is The Ebb and Flow of the Ages. Ooh, I quite like that. Always saying that about me too. For real. Okay. Luffy is adorable in that bottom left panel. I just misunderstood him, unless you're talking about this page. Here where he's cheerful, or here where he's determined. He is adorable in both of them. I'll give you that. I just misinterpreted that look on his face. It's determination, but I thought it was like, oh no, they're coming, or something like that. But anyway, I love him cheering her on. One day the memories, oh, right, the old man's still yapping. One day the memories of the Void Century will be recalled, and mark my words, that day is coming. The sinking of the world's continents was a man-made disaster brought about by weapons. Weapons which, by someone's design, still exist today. We're seeing Shirahoshi, we're seeing Vivi, look at, oh, she's so beautiful. We're seeing... Oh, this is Sky Island. Why did it take me so long to recognize them? The machinations of history and fate seem to insist upon the obliteration of those last descendants of rare... Oh, so they have to destroy the rare races. Interesting. Okay. Are you a buccaneer? That makes my blood different from other people's? Marcos is listening. Atop the red line, there used to be a land of gods up there. A Lunarian, huh? I hear the government pays 100 million for tips on your kind. Look, she's got 3 eyes. Loving this, a flash of all these different races. It's Nika! If there's one score I have to settle, it's with you. With that mimicry, a fail imitation. Get him. Look. Oh my golly. Look. Okay. So we're getting more reveals that the descendants of rare races, that they are destined to destroy them in order to do what they want to accomplish. We see all the races, and then we see Bonnie gearing up to fight, and she's like, I've got a problem with you specifically. And then Luffy's cheering her on, which is so Luffy. It is so very Luffy to be cheering her on like this and to not be like, no, I'm supposed to throw the punch, or I'm the hero, or I'm the whatever. It's like, oh, Marcos Snailphone has a white beard mustache. I didn't even notice that. Thank you for pointing that out. But that he's like, Bonnie, do it. Take my form. Imitate me. Take down your enemy. That is so Luffy. Nothing could be more Luffy than that. Luffy and Bonnie give big brother, little sister vibes this chapter, and I love it. They do. Luffy was looking at Bonnie and realizing she was weak in that state, then proceeded to encourage her. Ever any doubt that Oda was a macrophile? Grand line this morning, and he mentioned that Oda married a Nami cosplayer. Is that true? I've heard that a million zillion times, so it's impossible to know because the fandom passes around information, and some of it's true and some of it's not. But I have heard that a lot. Bottom left panel again with Bonnie. Oda's killing it with these. Yeah, I agree. The Bonnie look and the Luffy smile, both. Yes, but you're right. That's a good shout. I was really focused on the Luffy smile, but the Bonnie look of determination with like the angry tears in her eyes and the gritted teeth. Oh, gorgeous. Your only options are slavery and death. History itself chose them for you. History itself chose them for you. Whoa, that's a powerful line. Hold on. I need a second to process that one. wait a second. Your only options are slavery and death. History itself chose them for you. No. Actually, that's horrible. Did you hear that? Whew. Sorry, it's taking me a second to process that. That was a baddie line right there. Okay. Whew. You'll pay for what you did to my daddy. He'll show up and save you. And so, oh gosh. Okay. You'll pay for what you did to my daddy. And so do heroes. He'll show up and save you, and so do heroes. I wish we could have lived together as a family. This is Bonnie in her Nika form crying. Dang! Stop it! Stop it! Daggone! No! Ow! Corey put our cats on a diet, and Locke is so mad about it. And he keeps hopping on the counter and on the table, and he keeps trying to take my food. And I made a salad really quick and ate it super fast, and he kept trying to snatch my salad while I was trying to eat. And I left the egg shells, because I had boiled eggs on my salad. I left the egg shells on the countertop. I was going to clean them up after the live stream because I didn't have time to clean up my salad stuff before I hopped on the stream. And then he was over here licking the egg shells. It's probably fine. I'm just really tired of him trying to snatch my food. Anyway, it does sound like a Locke thing to do. You are right. Anyway, oh, thank you. Okay, right now, I need to double spread right now. Oh, okay, wait. Okay, hold on. Okay. I wish we could have lived together as a family. There are times I wanted to die if I had to be alone. But I won't. I'm going to live. That's a reoccurring theme in this in the series, but also in this arc. Because no! Oh, okay, wait. But I won't. I'm going to live because they wanted me to live. The picture of her with her parents. Thank you, Bonnie, for being born. Oh, man, that really... Wow, this whole page is killing me. And that contrast of your only options are slavery and death. History itself chose them for you. And then she's saying, I would have chosen death for myself over what was given to me. But I'm choosing to live because they wanted me to live. Thank you, Bonnie, for being born. Man, that contrast is really something. The contrast of this is what fate has decided for you. I'm choosing my own fate because they chose their own fate. And they passed on that will to me. Man, that's a really powerful page. I know I know I'm supposed to full spread and there's more coming, but that's just, I need to sit with that for a second. He's getting enough food, okay? Trust me. It is a fabulous set of panels. I don't believe this panel ever happened, correct? Because she died. Ginny died before she ever got to Kuma, before Bonnie ever got to Kuma. So they were the three never together. So the words, thank you, Bonnie, for being born, is what Kuma said to Bonnie. I believe she got that in a memory. Yeah. Bonnie saw all of Kuma's memories, so she knows everything Saturn did to, yeah. Yep. Okay, I'm gonna do the full spread. I just want to give me like one more second to just acknowledge that this was incredible. Okay. Oh, I see. I even read it all out of order. Okay. Your only options are slavery and death. History itself chose them for you. You'll pay for what you did to my daddy and what you did to my mommy. You people aren't gods, but gods do exist. And so do heroes. Now her sentence makes a lot more sense. I performed a chemical experiment on your mother. Hi, Bonnie. It's me, your mommy. She can't even remember her mom's face. Okay, big page. Liberation. Look at her with Luffy right behind her. Insects, vermin. Okay, so the full page is even better than the half page that I was reading. Whew. Yeah, the impact of this is really getting me. Look at them. Look at them together. Oh, I did see this. I did see this in some of the thumbnails. Bonnie looking like this, which, was not a spoiler because it's just Bonnie looking like that. We've seen Bonnie. But now I see it in context, and no wonder people chose that pose because, man. Daggone. Oh, man. Sorry. This is really hitting me. Okay, hold on. If the worst should come to pass, I want you all to take care of yourselves, no matter what should happen. I believe in the intelligence of mankind. That's good. I believe in science. Gur died 25 years ago. Oh, Whitebeard. What? What's Gur? Gur. Oh, I see the z. It's the zzz. Okay, it's shorted out again. Someone died. Oh, Roger. Okay. Roger died 25 years ago. Whitebeard died 2 years ago. But the fall of these legends was merely the prologue of a new era. Well, we knew that. Nika punch! Look at them go together! Look at them go together! Look at them! Look, so she's landing the one really heavy punch, but Luffy's coming from behind her, delivering all the other punches. So she couldn't do it on her own. But because Luffy was standing behind her, hyping her up, and then providing that backup of what truly needed done. Wow, I really love this chapter. Woo! Wow, this is a 10 chapter. I don't need to read the rest of it. It's a 10. And now these people who refuse to buckle under any and all suppression. Sorry. And now these people who refuse to buckle under any and all suppression. Look at him. He's torn to pieces. This is so much better than how I predicted him being taken out. Do you know? Here I am thinking about the most basic solution, that there will be another sacrifice. But in actuality, it's Bonnie standing up to her oppressor and the one who did this to her family, and Luffy standing behind her, making sure he falls. Man, this is good. Okay. And now these people who refuse to buckle under any and all suppression. Yeah. Whoa. Da. He blew into pieces. Good job, Bonnie. This chapter is so good. Look, isn't that your ship? Oh, right. It's the Sunny. Oh my goodness. Falling, dying, help. Falling, dying, help. Are they the ones who are the closest to the truth? What? They are. Sorry, dyslexia. They are the ones who are the closest to the truth. Ironically enough. Who are? Sorry, I forgot. Oh, the people who refuse to buckle under any and all suppression. Right, of course. They are the ones who are the closest to the truth, ironically enough. Why? Because they have the prophecies, because they're believing in Nika, because they know who they're waiting for. That's why. Then again, perhaps it was Roger who sent them there because of the One Piece. My treasure? Why, it's right where I left it. It's yours if you can find it. I've left everything in the world there. You're going to catch a cold, Ray. Woo, Vegapunk! I like the sound of what you're saying. Is the Commodore's crew back yet, or what? I can't just wait around like this. Captain, you might have had too much. No, I'm not. You're drunk. Okay, so we're talking about the hideout of so Blackbeard. Who's back yet? What? I can't wait around like this. And then the Red Force, sure. Shanks's people. You might have had too much. No, I'm not. You're drunk. Okay, so he's super drunk. Oh, I didn't read Vegapunk's word. The person who winds up with it may not be the one Joy Boy desired. Interesting. Hang on, let me look at chat. Chapters ago, Luffy, what's with that wimpy punch you threw? Let me show you how to throw a real punch. I remember that. Luffy knew she needed this. I know. Listen, I've been saying for a long time, Luffy is extremely emotionally intelligent. He may be an idiot, but the Nika punch print on Saturn looks 100% like the Nika symbol, a sun in the middle, Bonnie's punch. Oh, killer catch. I love that. He's falling into the ocean. I mean, again, I don't think that those are yokai devil fruits. Oh, you're saying that it's going to confirm whether or not it's a devil fruit? Sure. Kuma with the slightest smile. I know. It was very, very mild, but it was certainly there. I feel like you can see the faintest smile on Kuma's face. I agree. Me and my friends smashing shots after casually slaughtering a 3 billion baby annoying kid. I feel like that was perfectly timed too with the anime episode. And then you've got Oda doing this with Shanks. Side to Side might suggest a fight between those two sooner than we anticipated. I'm in for it. Sounds awesome. Okay, we aren't wrong. We weren't wrong after all. Chairman Buggy. Hideout of Emperor Buggy, Emperor Bluffs Island. You always find a way to outdo our wildest imagination. We had no idea the story was this vast. There's no ceiling to your ambitions. Why? I think the last we saw of him was him declaring that he was going to go after the One Piece. So I guess that's just what they're reacting to. Like, oh, wow, you're totally surprising us with your ambitions of wanting to go after the One Piece. Marine HQ, it cannot happen. We must find it first. Then who's going to save the people? Think, idiots! There is no stopping the tide. The fate of the world now rests in the hands of the one who finds it. Oh, man. The stakes on what the One Piece is have just risen. Am I right? Like, it's not just some nebulous object. It's actually the fate of the world rests on the person who finds it. So it's got to be like the thing that drains the ocean or drains it back to where it should be, eh? But if the world is sinking, not just that the tides are rising, like it's got to be something that sets things back. Am I wrong? Double spread? Thank you. Well, Buggy didn't show up, but his island did. I miss Buggy so much. Croc and Mihawk tried. Oh, Croc and Mihawk are tired of him. Oops. And he said, drain the ocean was a giant toilet. When Buggy told people to go after the One Piece, it was before Vegapunk's speech. Now that the speech is out and the One Piece is a big deal, they're even more impressed that Buggy kind of called it. Oh, nice. Nice. You're probably right. I love that. I love that. And to Buggy, he's just like, I'm just going after the biggest treasure that I've known about for all these years. And they're like, whoa, this is amazing foresight. You knew in advance that this was such a big deal. Roger did say that he would turn the world upside down. All right, double spread, Lynn says. The person who lays claim to the One Piece. Okay, we got Shanks, Luffy, Blackbeard, Buggy. Yeah, I do love it. Marines, Revolutionary Army. Oh, well, there's other revolutionaries. Okay, then I'll just say Dragon. Some random shadowy character? Okay. Is this the man with burn marks? Or is this maybe the moon fella that was introduced and then we didn't do anything with him? Emu, Kobe, Kizaru. Ain't nobody. Oh, the moon guy's right here. Okay, never mind about the moon. Kizaru, who has been completely useless. Wait. Sorry. Golly gee. Okay, hold on. Light Guy is who I was trying to slander just there. But this isn't Light Guy. This is Sleepy Navy Guy. I'm trying to remember whose name is who. Kuzan is Sleepy Navy Guy's name. Okay, got it. Look at me remembering names. And then Kobe. This is a 10 out of 10 chapter. Everybody that's supposed to join me for the chit chat portion, please feel free to hop in while I catch up on chat. So much with this panel. Who that sword at the bottom right? I'm saying. I don't know. I guess the man marked by flames, possibly. What makes you think what makes you sure he's taken out? Honestly, I don't remember what I said, so I don't know what you're talking about. Who's taken out? Oh, Kizaru. What are you talking about? It's Shank's sister? Maybe. Or Shank's half-brother? Maybe. Looks like Shank's sword, but Shanks is just there. Feels very end of arc-ish. It does. It does. I saw Tekking did a stream saying that we were nearing the end. And I agree. We're definitely nearing the end. Sure, shut up, Mort. Also, Figureland here, being here. We've seen you one time just sitting in a chair. I don't know if you belong in this group. Well, I think the implication is that he's about to play a big role, that he actually wasn't just thrown in there cavalier, but that Oda has a plan and he's going to play a big role here pretty soon. You remembered, so proud. Thank you. Thank you. That guy is Joy Boy. Like from the past, or you think Joy Boy is still alive? Because I don't. For throwing out random guesses, that Shadow is the giant Loki. Okay, sure. He's not really built like a giant. How's it going, Grand Soul?
Hello.
Jonathan, good to see you.
Hello.
Hi. All right, Soul, you are the only one that I've not met before in person. So, hey.
Hello.
Nice to meet you, and nice to
meet
see
you too.
Thank you, and nice to see Jonathan and Pride again, or Eric. Sorry, which one do you want to be called?
Eric's fine.
Okay, killer. What'd y'all think of the chapter?
I'm fine with Jonathan as well for the name. You can call me Jonathan.
You only had one name, so it was easier. Whoever wants to go.
Go ahead, Graham. So you can go first.
10 out of 10. I loved it. I think, I feel like up to this point, the events of Egghead and the speech have been kind of running in parallel, but then in this chapter, brought them together in a way that was really satisfying.
Yeah, you mean because of Bonnie's flashback tied in with what was being said?
Yes, and Vegapunk talking about how the government's been hunting down the various races and stuff.
He still didn't say the government though.
He didn't, but he implied it for us, anyways.
For us, the rest of the world is still like, oh, Luffy did it. Jonathan?
I think I'm gonna say 10 out of 10. I got very emotional with the flashback of Bonnie and then her imagination of having her mom and her dad together. I think that part really got me because I know it never happened, but in her mind, that's what she sees. And I when I first read it, I kind of teared up, and I was at work too. I was on my break, so I was trying to hold it back.
Just sobbing in the break room.
Yes, just sobbing in the break room, trying to hold back the tears, and then not finishing reading until I got home because I was like, no, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
10 out of 10 for this chapter overall. I still feel like Vegapunk's speech is a little bit stretching out.
Yeah.
And not all the way through, it feels like there's actually anything being said.
Yeah.
So on that end, negative, but the emotions in this chapter kind of bring it up to a 10.
I do agree. I was rereading his speech from top to bottom, and of course, when you read it all in one go, it flows much better, obviously. But even with that being true, it still feels like dead space. Like there's enough time where it's like, why so much preamble? It's like chapters of preamble, and then it cuts out, of course, when something big is revealed. Go ahead, Eric. What did you think?
Oh, yeah, no, definitely a 10 out of 10. I think it was definitely different than what I thought it would be because, like, I just thought there would be a big reveal here at the end. And even though we didn't get that, the recontextualization of the One Piece was just perfect for me.
Yeah.
So I loved it.
The recontextualization of the One Piece is in its own right a bit of a reveal.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I thought it was going to be something more along the lines of like, let me show you something that you couldn't have speculated on your own.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Still 10 though for you?
Yeah, it's still a 10.
Bilbo says, I do wish there was more revealed in the Vega speech. So same as you, Eric. I think the whole world knowing more info now. I like the whole world knowing more info now, but it feels like it was largely stating things we, the readers, already knew, unless I'm forgetting. Yeah, no, I agree. Obviously, we learned that the world was sinking. But other than that, we've gotten a lot of like fractured information that we can kind of play with. But I still think we're getting one more reveal, though.
Do you think the speech is still going?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm guessing myself now.
I think the speech is still going. I did a hard thing where I'm believing the chapter's this arc is gonna end on chapter 1130 to 1133. I don't know why. I can't explain it, but
1134. Let's do what?
it's just in between those three chapters. And this was going months ago, like right before Vegapunk started his speech. Is when I played on that gas. And there's 9 chapters left to get close to where I was thinking. And in the way this chapter ended, I still feel there's still things to come. And I saw like a post about the editor saying it was going to end like in the fall. So
see that.
It makes me feel like there's still going to be at least 9 more chapters.
Well, even if the speech is over, we could still have more chapters.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. But the way that the end of this with the Vegapunk speech, it doesn't feel like it's over. I think he's still going to say something else.
Yeah. Welcome, Jordan. How are you?
Hi, sorry, I had technical difficulties. And my friend texted me that Biden withdrew from the race, so I'm distracting.
Okay.
Big deal
I didn't
for
see that
Americans.
News.
Yeah. Anyway.
I accept the political talk real quick. Eric.
Yes.
Eric, what's your reason for thinking the speech is over?
It felt like the whole declaration at the end, especially with the spread, it just felt really final. But I will say something I noticed during the chapter is that the speech was still getting cut off with like it like blurred when he was trying to say Roger died.
Yes.
So maybe the robot's doing something and like there is maybe more, but it just felt like an ending to me.
That's a good point. I didn't notice. Oh, whoops, I'm in the wrong. I didn't notice what the robot was doing when he said that. Okay, so we're still looking at the boar and the worm descending on Iron Giant. So that is interesting that it would still be cutting off when we're not seeing any sort of impact or immersion in water or anything to really. So I guess it's just still kind of the psychic link is damaged from being immersed in water previous, do you reckon?
Maybe. Or maybe my theory was it's maybe like charging something up for like because he was like waiting to do something and maybe that's interrupting the speech.
Okay. I dig that. Jordan, thoughts on the chapter?
I thought it was incredible.
Yeah.
12 out of 10. I'd seen a comment that on Reddit that there's in chapter 100, there's dragon introduced and Gold Roger is saying like inherited will, people's dreams, and the ebb and flow of the ages. And inherited will is the chapter where Hirlik dies. People's dreams is the chapter where Blackbeard says people's dreams never end.
Yes.
And then this chapter, at least in the scanlation, it was the ebb and flow of the ages. And then this commenter is like, I've been waiting 20 years for this chapter to have this title. So yeah, it's like the beginning of the final part of One Piece. It's incredible.
I know, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. And also just seeing Saturn defeated was like the most satisfying since I've seen Lucci get defeated.
Do you think he's forever defeated, this immortal being?
I saw a theory that the Sunny was gonna fall and squish him. I hope that happens.
That would be great.
I don't know. I mean, we're gonna see if they can drown or not, I guess now, right?
I mean, we have to kill them somehow. Like, we can't just end the series and be like, oh, by the way, the immortal demons are still hanging around in the background. So they have to be defeated somehow.
Yeah.
But who is defeated until Emu is defeated? That's the question.
I don't think any of the elders are going to be defeated in this arc.
Oh, in this arc.
In this arc specifically, because at least from what I can remember, most villains that are like big never get defeated on the first round. And this is technically the first round that Luffy's encountering them.
Okay.
So that's what I'm
saying. Have 5. I feel like we could defeat 1.
Yeah, I agree. And that would be him, right?
It would be him, which would be satisfying to have the first one in to also be the first one out.
It would parallel Skypiea also, where they defeated the Bog Priest before the war started.
Yeah, good point. I like that.
Yeah.
I could see this being like his thematic defeat. Like we're not going to focus on him anymore. But I don't see him being down for the count yet.
I think it feels like he's down for the count, especially because we have 4 more. So it doesn't matter if we lose 1 just now. However, the thing that has me hanging on is that I do think that they are tied to Emu to the extent that can they be defeated without Emu's defeat? Sol, do you have any thoughts on this?
Definitely don't think he's out. I don't know. I don't think he's dead, but I don't know. But beyond that,
yeah,
because I feel like throughout the whole last couple of chapters of Luffy fighting them, he's saying he can't hurt them or he can't do anything, and that just leads me to believe that in this arc they're not going to get defeated. They have to find something else, like a weakness, or find out a way that they can stop him for good. That's why I feel like it's going to be later and no one in this arc.
Fair enough. I mean, I definitely think that that's a possibility to do it that way. It'd definitely be satisfying for the Bonnie/Kuma storyline for him to be defeated, but it's OP. I don't believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times have you had holes punched through your entire body to the point that you're in tatters? Like, everybody recovers from that, to be fair.
But I'm not a magical reforming demon.
You're not?
No.
Oh,
At least not that I'm aware of.
You're like
Anyway.
the only one here.
Well, that's awkward.
It is.
There is 5 of us, so
Kick Grand Soul out. Welcome to the stream. Goodbye. What did y'all think of this shadowy person? Do you have any guesses of who this is?
Oh, the one with the sword.
Mm.
The hilt almost reminded me of Shank's sword,
Yeah.
but I honestly can't come up with a name or anyone that has a sword like Shank's.
Yeah.
It might be what everyone's been saying, or a lot of people have been saying, that it's a relative of Shank's.
Hey, Stefan, I'm so sorry I didn't see you backstage. Can you hear us?
Hello? Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so sorry I didn't see you. I didn't see you backstage.
No
What did
worries.
What did you think of the chapter, Stefan?
A lot of hype building. So obviously, I mean, that's very exciting in terms of, the pieces are moving into place and so on. But I can't help but shake the feeling that Oda is about to do a switcheroo on us.
Yeah, in what way?
Well, this is the final saga, so I don't know if things are going to play out differently, but typically in One Piece, there is at least an arc between the setup and the payoff.
Sure.
And I think we've moved a lot of pieces that we've set up with the emperors that are going for the One Piece and the elders and so on. But I can't help but think that we're going to head to the Revolutionary Army to set up some of those pieces before we head to Elbaf.
Okay. So what would be?
And
Go ahead.
I just get the feeling we're going to do something like after Fishman Island, where it's like, hey, you thought you were going here, but surprise.
Yeah, but then we got Punk Hazard.
Yeah, no, I'm just, I guess, I mean, I don't really have a solid reason for this. This is entirely gut feeling.
Sure.
But the tendency in One Piece, to me, seems to be building up and hyping up things and then put them off to the side to cook for a little bit, to
Yeah, I see what
simmer
you're
in the background. And I do think there are a lot of other pieces that we haven't touched for a while.
Yeah.
Regarding, the Revolutionary Army, what's happening over there with Sabo and his dad. And I also can't quite shake the feeling that it's still too early for him to meet Shanks.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else have any thoughts on that?
I still think Shanks and Luffy will be meeting a lot closer to the end of the whole story. Unless he dies. Who knows? He might die.
I think they are going to Elbaf next, but Shanks might show up halfway through Elbaf or towards the end of it, or maybe not even at all.
I could see Elbaf being a pretty long arc.
Yeah, a big arc, right?
Yeah. Hey. Soul, you unmuted.
Well, you said you thought Elbaf would be long. My thought was it could be like the elephant whose name I can't remember. Zunesha between like it was Punk Hazard to Zunesha to Whole Cake.
She's out. Yeah.
With Zunesha was kind of like a shorter transitory thing. I could see Elbaf being a shorter transitory thing to get to the true.
That would be terrible.
End.
I want Elbaf to be a big arc. I think
just for the pun.
No, because I really want to explore Giant Land. Sorry, Stefan, what were you going to say?
My feeling is that Elbaf is definitely being set up as a payoff arc. I mean, we've been hearing about it all the way since Little Garden.
Yes.
So I definitely think there's a lot of big things that are being built up for Elbaf, which is partly why I doubt we're going there next. because I do think there are other pieces that still have to be built up and put in place before Elbaf.
Okay,
We
okay.
have giants though. We're with the giants. Are we not going to take them back home?
That's what I'm thinking too, Eric. I was going to bring that up. It seems like we have all the pieces set, which I mean, we could take the giants someplace else and they could just be like, woohoo, we're hanging out with our pal. But I don't think that the series is going to end in Elbaf. So I see it being like Egghead, Elbaf, and then where we conclude.
Do you think that there will be a big battle in Elbaf?
I mean, it's Elbaf. It's the land of the warriors.
So, or should I say, do you think that
You think the
the
biggest
government,
that final battle?
either like other pirates or the government, is going to show up at Elbaf?
I wouldn't think so. I think that they have their borders too secure. Like they are very isolated. So I wouldn't say so. What do y'all think?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Just like I feel like
I
this
think-
chapter set up everyone to go for the One Piece.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I could see like, and that's part of the reason why I think it'll be shorter. Is it's like the Straw Hats and the Giants go back to Elbaf, whereas everyone else just beelines it straight for the end.
I like the idea of Shanks and Blackbeard in Elbaf. And then
I think.
sorry, go
sorry.
ahead. No, go
No,
ahead.
I'm remembering now. I think Oda's New Year's message, he implied there was going to be going to Elbaf, and then people would be fighting over that thing. So maybe it's all four emperors Davy backfight for the last road poneglyph.
That's a good point. I think you're onto something.
Yeah.
Very good point. Go ahead,
I-
Stefan. I see you have something.
You mentioned that the government and the borders of Elbaf and so on. I did get the impression that Elbaf is kind of an isolated country from the rest. Could they perhaps be some kind of neutral ground where there could be like a battle or a Davy back or something for the other pirates to have some kind of issue hammered up between them?
That's a good point because they love battle so much. I could see like if everybody culminates there, them saying, "All right, let's fight it out," and then like they orchestrate that. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Well, I guess the question really comes down to the final poneglyph.
Yeah.
Right. The Rio one. But if someone gets their hands on it, I wouldn't be surprised if that person perhaps was Shanks. And then everybody descends to get the final poneglyph.
I think that Shanks has it at Elbaf, the last poneglyph, because he knew where. Yeah, because he knew where it was in Fishman Island.
It was just
He was there. It disappears right after Roger's death, and then Shanks has been, from what it looked like when we first see him again, is he's drinking at Elbaf, and it looks like he has a really close relationship, and they call him boss. So it makes me believe that it's somewhere hidden there, or that's one of the other things I can think of at the moment.
Shanks did say at some point it's time to go for the One Piece.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then we saw him next at Elbaf, right?
That's why I think,
Hmm.
and this is old, and I haven't brought it up in a long time, but I have had the suspicion that we're not going to see our emperors all together until we're at Laughtail. Everybody's going to arrive at the same time, and then that's when they're going to have their confrontation where Shanks is going to fight side by side with Luffy. Luffy and Blackbeard are going to fight. It's going to be in Laughtail.
I doubt
I would agree with that.
And my personal feeling for doubting it is just the one still shot of when Roger was on Laughtail, there's that image of he laughed. And so my feeling is the One Piece is kind of like the one piece of the puzzle that when you put it in place, suddenly the picture makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And because it seemed to be that when he saw the picture, he laughed and it was joyous. I can't help but think that Laughtale is going to be a part of the falling action after the climatic battle and so on. When you finally get in and you see the One Piece, the conclusion, it's going to be this very private, joyous moment, similar to what Roger had.
Very possible. Eric, it looks like you were going to say something.
Oh, yeah. So with the way that final spread was and this chapter was laid out, I got the sense that these are our main players. These are the people who are making it to Laughtale. Like, they're all somehow going to get all the poneglyphs, make it to the end, and then the fight will happen, and then the victor will get the One Piece. That's just how I interpreted it.
Okay.
If we're in the belief that all the emperors are going to show up at Laughtale around the same time, that kind of like lets me believe that maybe that the red poneglyph won't be in Elbaf, because I don't think everyone's going to be fighting and get a copy of the rubbing if it's there. So it might be somewhere else then.
I see it being an Elbaf, though. I mean, we don't know, obviously, but it just makes sense, I think, narratively. Shifting. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jonathan.
Oh, no. I was just kind of going to say, well, if it is in Elbaf and we're thinking that the emperors are going to show up at Laughtale around the same time, then wouldn't that mean that all the emperors will be at Elbaf at the same time?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
No worries. If we think that the red poneglyph is in Elbaf,
yes,
and you were saying that you think the emperors are going to show up at Laughtale together,
yes,
does that mean that they'll be in Elbaf together and they'll get that rubbing?
Not necessarily together, especially if Shanks already has his, and the others could either get there by other means. Like, I could see Buggy just kind of tailing Shanks and getting there like in a crooked way instead of by getting a rubbing. And Blackbeard might have inside information from other people as well and get there in a roundabout way. Like, they don't have to all go to Elbaf and get the rubbing necessarily. I mean, not that I'm discounting that. I'm just saying that there are other options.
I just remembered something.
Yes.
Shanks got his 3 rubbings from Kid. So if it is an Elbaf, that would mean he already has all 4.
Yeah.
And he's already on his way to Laughtale.
Yeah. Eric.
Picking back off that, like, this chapter seemed to imply that the Marines are also going to be joining the race to find the One Piece. If that's true, like, they're so far behind in terms of like red poneglyphs. It seems like to imply to me that like there's going to be another way to get to Laughtale, or maybe like just following one of the emperors.
Jordan,
that you don't necessarily need all the poneglyphs.
Wasn't what's his name, the Impel Down, Shiryu said the government might have the last road poneglyph when Blackbeard and Aokiji were like talking?
That's so abstract. I don't remember that. But you might.
Well, if the government has one road poneglyph, they could just wait for the other people to come to them and take it, right? Take the other 3.
Frosty thinks that both Blackbeard and Kid implied that the man marked with flames has the last red poneglyph.
Oh, yes. Shiryu was speculating the man marked by flames was a government man. Now I remember.
Oh, yes. Okay. Wow. All of that is beyond me. Shifting gears from predicting what the happenstance going forward, what did y'all think about this? The big giant punch, the 2 of them working together, her throwing the punch, Luffy playing her backup. How did you feel about these scenes?
This is my favorite way a villain has been defeated in the entire story. I mean, in Dressrosa, I kind of felt like Law should have played a part a little bit in the final defeat of Doflamingo. So I'm very happy with this. And it also shows Luffy's development. You know, he could have beat Saturn on his own, but he knew how important it was for Bonnie.
Yeah. One could even argue he did defeat Saturn on his own, but he let Bonnie be a part of it because it mattered to her and because he wanted that for her.
Yes, I would agree with that, because didn't she punch him like in the face, but he doesn't have holes there, so.
Oh, wait, that's a killer observation, Jordan. You're right. She did punch him in the face. And he does have a hole in the side of his ear, but that's not where she hit him.
Oh, she hit him in his big belly, I guess. So.
Oh, in his belly? It looks like it's like right here to me. Hard to say.
It's incredible. The person that said it's like the Nika, not the Nika, like the ancient kingdom symbol 8 or 6, I guess.
It does look like it.
Yeah, that was a really good observation too. And I
And
think,
then-
you're right. I think it is in his belly that he got hit by her.
And it also looks like Bonnie's fist is bigger.
Uh-huh.
So kind of like that's the center, and then the arms being 6 and then being smaller.
Hmm.
Or maybe it's 6.
Luffy took care of most of the damage.
6 also, an insect has 6 legs, right? So he's the insect.
Ooh.
I love that. I know people have had really mixed feelings about Bonnie having this freest form and sharing Spotlight with Luffy. And I don't know if it's like a loud minority or if that is like a larger kind of opinion, but I have loved the way Oda's handled it, especially again, because it seemed like the most obvious answer to defeat Saturn was Kuma sacrificing himself or Dory or Bragi sacrificing themselves, like some sort of another sacrifice. And what Oda did was thematically and symbolically so much more powerful.
Talking about Kuma,
Go ahead.
do you think that Kuma is still going to do like a final stand and a final goodbye, or do you think it's going to be one where they're safe, Bonnie calls out to him, and they have like a small moment, and then he passes on?
I don't know. It's so hard to say because I do think that he has been set up to be a sacrifice. So I still am anticipating that. But it's hard to say. Do y'all have opinions on that?
Has it been confirmed that this is like the end of the arc?
Not by Oda, I don't believe. It's just a lot of speculation.
I think in the next chapter or 2 it'll be gone. Yeah, that's just the vibe.
Because I mean, we could very well find the next chapter that Saturn was completely unaffected and just heals himself,
And he could regenerate.
and then they have to do an emergency getaway.
You're totally right about that. That would be crazy. That'd be crazy if he just starts reforming again like he did before when he was thrown back into the building and got all broken up.
I mean, look, in One Piece and manga in general, it is a fairly common tactic to show just how imposing a foe is. Like for example, they did it on Marineford, where they cut Lava Guy in half, and then he's just this molten, Terminator figure
2.
that's slowly putting
Thank you
himself
for
back
using his
together
real
again.
name.
So, yeah. Well, I mean, I wanted to use his real name, but then I blanked for a second.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It helps me not look stupid. Eric, did you want to say something? Oh, okay, sorry. Soul, you haven't talked in a bit. Do you have any thoughts on this?
I feel like because I don't what much more is there for them to do? It's like the Sunny's about to land on the giant ship, so everyone's on that ship. What more is there for them to do than get the
I
heck
think
out?
the big thing that needs to be concluded is Kuma. I still think he has a card to play before this is all over.
I will also note that we may be projecting too much because I said that he has been set up as this big sacrifice. And to be fair, he's already filled that role. We already had the scene where he was out, Bonnie was about to be killed. He woke up, got in front of her, blocked her, essentially like a cross, if I'm remembering correctly. So all that, Judeo-Christian symbolism that's been tied up in him is all there. And then he gets injured even worse and is down again. So it is quite possible that all of the symbolism and correlations that we've been pulling for Kuma has already been fulfilled. And now Oda's ready to move on from that.
I
would agree with
could
that,
see
especially
that.
with the
Yeah, I agree.
But I I do think he
Especially with
has
the
lived
focus
an
with
entire.
Bonnie this chapter.
Sorry, we have a bit of a lag. I'm gonna let Stefan go first and then Eric, okay?
I guess I could see that, but the thing is, Kuma has led a entire lifestyle of sacrifice.
Mhm.
That's been his life, and I don't think the sacrifice that he's made so far has really been of the climactic scale that it needs to be a capstone on his story. I think it is possible that he could make a bigger sacrifice yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that's just because I do think that One Piece in general really likes to take epic moments and then make them more epic and then make them more epic. I mean, I think if this was any other story, then I would have said, yes, that's a fine climactic sacrifice. But for One Piece, it feels a little bit lacking to me. I think he's going to have a bigger one. I mean, effectively, he's being left behind at the moment, isn't he?
No, he's on the ship.
Is he? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
He's on the Viking ship. Go ahead, Eric.
Oh, yeah. So I think for me, like Kuma's punch against Saturn was just the cathartic moment. And the fact now that we're even giving Bonnie a final attack on Saturn and Kuma's watching this and he's seeing everything, it feels like his life purpose has been fulfilled. And he has this like sense of joy of seeing Bonnie that to me it would just feel weird for him with being so damaged to then get up and like blow himself up essentially. It feels weird when we have this like narrative conclusion.
Mm-hmm. Jordan, did you have something you wanted to say?
Yeah, I agree with that. And also, I think Bonnie's going to join the crew and, she'll awaken her fruit and then she'll go at the end of the story back to Elbaf or wherever Kuma is, and she'll use her power to turn him a future where he was never made into a machine permanently. And they'll be together. That's what I want to see. They've suffered so much. And I don't know. Oda has like a big heart. I feel that's the kind of thing he would go for.
Yeah. Okay, Jonathan, you looked like you were about to say something.
Oh, I was just going to say that I want Kuma to have a happy ending. I honestly don't think he's going to be surviving or having a happy, like a really, like for satisfy me as a happy ending. I think he is going to die. I just don't know how.
Mm-hmm.
And then he brought up a point I completely didn't think about it. I think Bonnie might actually join because she's going to have no one left after this.
Liam did bring up a good point, though, a couple chapters ago when he was like, Yamato basically wrote on the sky, did like a skywriting. I'm joining the crew, and still here we are. So Liam was saying, maybe not, but until it happens, I won't believe it again. I want to respond to what y'all said about Kuma, though. Stefan, I think your point was really solid that Oda likes his big bombastic conclusions to thematic payoff, like the payoff, he wants it to be big. And what we got with Kuma is good. I mean, I thought it was a great scene, but it doesn't feel like a One Piece conclusion to thematic. So that's a really good point. But I also agree a lot with what Eric and Jordan were saying. And I think that what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to hold my expectations with very open hands, because Oda also at times will set something up only to kind of subvert, and then it can feel unsatisfying if we've projected too many expectations onto it. So I'm looking at it also from the perspective of thematically, has this already been concluded? Technically, yes. So Oda can close that door and give us a different ending than the most expected one. So I still feel like Kuma's big sacrifice is coming. Like, that's how it feels to me. But I also don't want to be mad at Oda for not doing the most expected thing, if it doesn't happen.
Well, let me ask you this.
Yes.
So if we're deciding that Kuma kind of fits the Jesus analogy,
Sure.
do you think he has already experienced the going down to hell for 3 days?
That's a good question. I don't know that Oda always tries to make his his parallels so one-to-one that it would have to match every single pattern. I would say that Kuma has been through hell at this point, so that might be what he's going for, or Oda might just omit that part because I'm not sure that would be the most important part of the symbolism in Oda's mind, if that makes sense. But you're right. You say that there hasn't been a perfect parallel for that if Oda's going for it.
Well, I mean, it could be that there isn't going to be a perfect parallel, but if Kuma somehow gets left behind by these characters who were represented as being very demonic in their grasp, I do think that would be a very easy way to make the parallel happen. So he might not go for it. But
that's a really good point. That's a really solid point. I have no response to that other than just that I'm not sure that for the masses that would be a familiar enough piece of the gospel that Oda would think that your average reader would know that parallel off the top of their head. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't think he makes parallels so that people recognize them.
True.
I think he makes parallels to give his story depth. And a lot of his sort of parallels that he's done before have been very obscure.
Abstract. You're right. That's a good point too. I have no counter. It would be a really if Oda wanted to include that part of the parallel, it would be a killer way to do it.
In a way, he kind of oh, sorry, that was a plane.
No, it's okay. It sounded like the Among Us, like, so I was like, what's gonna happen?
No, just a prop plane. In a way, he kind of already was, because like not directly at the hands of Saturn, but like Saturn was forcing Vegapunk to do it. So in a way, he kind of was. Sure. I don't know if it's a whole lot more than 3 days.
Yeah, right.
But
maybe 3 years. I don't know what the timeline has been.
3 something.
3 months, maybe. We'll make it up.
But like I could see it being after this point, like if the sacrifice doesn't happen, it could be either what was said earlier of Kuma hangs out on Elbaf till the end of the story and then gets helped, or it's a much more like toned down as they're leaving. He like gets a last moment with Bonnie as he bleeds out, maybe. Because like he's already done, as you said, all of the like he did the sacrifice of sacrificing himself so Bonnie could survive, and then also coming back to do the sacrifice again to save her in this arc. Just a thought.
Yeah. No, sorry, I'm just processing it all. I'm trying to like compare in my mind. No, but that's great. Are there any other thoughts on this or any other part of the chapter that we want to discuss before we wrap up?
There was one thing. When you guys were talking about the government being very far behind in terms of the Rio poneglyphs and things, I do feel I should mention that the government did have access to a lot of islands that no compass seemed to point to. You had Punk Hazard that was completely off the radar for the blog poses. There was, I think, the government island that the train went to also wasn't really registered with log poses and so on. So the government might have navigational abilities that we aren't aware of.
On the navigation, the law during Water 7, that one, it just didn't have enough time for Nami's log post to connect to set. And then regarding for Punk Hazard, it did, but after the explosion and after the big battle with Lava and Sleepy Navy Guy, that messed up the magnetism thing that they have.
We just don't use the log post anymore. So
yeah, we kind of just use the what's it called, the little piece of paper.
Yeah, we could just forego the log post altogether. Eric, you were gonna say something?
Oh, I was gonna say in terms of Kuma, with like the expectation of a sacrifice, do you think in his term of his story, is he already post resurrection, or is it at the point where he still needs to sacrifice himself, like personally?
That is the question, right? The sacrifice that he did for Bonnie that we were just talking about, was that the sacrifice? And this is or what? When he gets up to have his final conversation with Bonnie, that'll be post-resurrection, which is certainly possible because, you know, the post-resurrection scene with the disciples is like very hopeful, and it's like the beginning of the new age, the new era, and all that. So it could be that that's going to be the conclusion of his arc, is him standing back up and having his life with Bonnie begin, or we could be pre-sacrifice, and that's what we're about to witness. It could go either way. But that's a good point. I don't know. I love talking about it, though. It's super fun. Just trying to kind of piece it together.
I can also add that, like, if he is in his like post-resurrection form, like if the parallel is Jesus, like even after post-resurrection, Jesus then again died and went to heaven, so we could still get that death if that's what. Yeah. So Kuma could ascend.
Could ascend, yeah. He could ascend into Godhead.
It can finally be with Bonnie.
Yes, that would be his perfect ascension, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Or Ginny. I got the names switched.
Oh my golly, I didn't even notice. I was just like, yeah, I'm with you.
Well, I mean, it could also be that there is some kind of post-death way that he strikes back and all his hopes and things get accomplished after his death.
Like his will passing on to Bonnie and then her fulfilling it.
Yeah.
Or something like that, where it turns out that he made a move or hit something or did something before he got turned into a cyborg that finally pays off. Kind of like with Hohenheim in Full Metal Alchemist, where you know, it turns out that he had been busy all this time when he had, you know, and Kuma has a lot of has an extremely high capacity for travel.
Totally.
He could have arranged a lot of things around the world.
I like that observation. Ooh, I like that a lot. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, I'm going to wrap it up here. This conversation has been a blast, by the way. Thank y'all for talking a whole bunch of future events and just theorizing, even though none of it will be right. I know I was going to do something totally different. It was a lot of fun.
Well, I mean, predicting One Piece is a fool's game.
Oh, 100%. But it sure is fun.
But yeah, and I fear the drugs that I would have to take to make One Piece make logical sense to me. So, you know, I do the best I can with a few sips.
Oh my golly. I just realized we never looked at the
Tessine's art.
Yes, T-Scene. I'll just put it in the chat because we've gone on for a long time. So I'll say bye to everybody. Thank you so much for joining. And then I'll hop in the chat and post her art.
Before you leave,
Yes?
Murphy, you broke my phone this morning and you owe me a new one. You scared me with your jump with the cat thing and I dropped it.
For real?
Yes, look.
I'm so sorry. That's
I'm
Locke's
kidding.
fault.
It's okay. It didn't actually happen. That happened last night.
Bye, everybody. Thanks so much for joining.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Murph.